Hey everyone, Tankenstein here. The next major update for War Thunder, Line of Contact, is just around the corner, and we just got access to the dev server for it. So what I'll be doing in this video is going over each and every one of the vehicles that you can expect, or at least that you can see in the dev server. Bear in mind there might be some vehicles not present on the dev server that will be coming in the next major update, but those tend to be pretty few in number. And also there might be some changes for some of these vehicles before now or before the next major update. So again, bear that in mind. But that being said, the first thing that we have here is the American Ground Forces tech tree. And as you can see here, we have pretty much nothing, but we do have the M10 Booker and the NASAMS 3. So some pretty high tier vehicles. The NASAMS 3 going to be the next the top of the line SPAA beyond even the claws, and of course the M10 Booker. Now the M10 Booker is a vehicle that just got introduced, or kind of introduced into US inventory in real life, but it really, it might not actually be put into service because there's only about 80 of them that were made before the orders were canceled. Then of course we also have the Ryan FR1 Fireball, which personally I'm extremely excited for. I am shocked that the BR is only 4.3. Again, anything can change between now and the actual server going live, so we'll have to wait and see. This is a dual propulsion vehicle, so it has a jet and a piston, which is very interesting. And also bear in mind here, this is not all that strong of a piston engine, and it's also not a very strong jet. Plus, it only has 1,200 rounds between 4 MGs. It does have late war belts, which is really quite nice, so you do have the very nice armor-piercing incendiary tracers, but that's about it. Oh, and also, we do have this brand new hangar where you will be able to show off a kind of different weaponry. So let's go ahead and put this out here. Well, I'm not entirely sure how the different weaponry works, how you can have it show off, but basically, in theory, the weapon should be strewn around the vehicle itself, but as of right now, for whatever reason, I'm not able to get that working, but we do have a new hangar system. Otherwise, there are no helicopters that you can expect, but the US is also going to be getting a new top-tier jet in the FA-18E Super Hornet, and this will have access to, as you can imagine, a bunch of AIM-120 C5s. It's just going to be an absolute monster, just tons of anti-ground weaponry. This thing will more or less be able to do it all, plus it will also have the ATF, or the AT FLIR targeting pod, which is really awesome. It's just going to be beautiful in my opinion. And, oh, look at this. Actually, no, this is the old FA-18, my apologies. This is what it will look like, just really nice with those angular intakes. Beautiful aircraft. Also is substantially larger than the standard FA-18, which is interesting. Now they will be getting, and I'll go through this a little bit more quickly, they will also be getting in the Blue Water Fleet the USS Forrest Sherman, which will be a destroyer, and the USS South Dakota, which is really cool in my mind. This will be a very powerful ship. Next in line to the USS Iowa, which is awesome, and I believe the Oregon City was in the last thing. Now, this is one of the issues with having the last two updates coming within a month of each other. As you can see here, this has the new vehicle banner right there, like the gold stripe, which doesn't make it any easier to kind of identify which vehicles I should be reviewing and which ones not, but typically Gaijin does a pretty good job of making it easier for me. So that being said, when it comes to the German ground forces, they will be getting the Jaguar 2, which is pretty much kind of an evolution here of the Raketenjagdpanzer 2, except it does have a slightly different, if I'm not mistaken, AGM. It's just a little bit better in a way, but it's nothing really all too much better. Still has more or less, if I'm not mistaken, about the same armor, more or less the same vehicle. It's just a minor improvement. But when it comes to aircraft, as you can see, Germany doesn't really have much in the way of new aircraft until you get here at the bottom, where we finally have the AESA radar, the active array radar, which is just phenomenal. This thing is going to be gnarly, and it will have access to, of course, AIM-120 C5s and also AIM-9Ns and just a whole bunch of anti-ground weaponry. If you guys don't know, this basically is a new radar system, which should make it an extremely, and I do mean extremely, powerful vehicle, and of course, they also have no helicopters. Now, I'm wondering if that is going to increase the BR all too much. I mean, it is both; they're both 14.3 BR. I'm sure it will in the future, but we'll have to wait and see. They will be getting the Lutyens, which is basically, if I'm not mistaken, like a modification on a US destroyer, and that will be at 5.3 BR. And they will also be getting, I believe there is a coastal, yes, the MPK PR 1331, which is an East German vehicle. Now, for Russia, they are going to be getting some really cool things that a lot of people have been wanting, and this is something I feel like some people might be kind of pissed off at, but I can kind of understand why Germany or why Russia is doing this. They are getting the BMP-T-72, which will be a premium an anti-tank missile carrier, and then, of course, the BMPT. Now, these vehicles are very similar. They more or less have the same exact weaponry setup. As you can see, I mean, they both fire the 9M120 ATGMs, which is pretty cool. However, this has a 5-man crew, whereas the 72 is a more modernized version and has a 3-man crew. As you can see here, you have 3 in the front, 2 in the turret, whereas the BMPT-72 is just a totally, at least I thought it was a totally unmanned turret, but rather it's a bit better armored. But also, everything on the dev server is subject to change, so while this is going to be a tougher vehicle to get through, once you actually get through it, you only have to destroy 3 crew members, whereas the other one, you have to destroy 5. So, more or less, a very similar vehicle. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the Tor M1 will also be coming for the Russian ground tech tree, as of course, you could see right here. Then, of course, we have nothing coming for helicopters. I feel like helicopters are very hit or miss. We do have the DBLK, very interesting aircraft in my mind. I mean, it looks like a bat-winged aircraft. Really cool in my mind. I mean, it's not all that incredibly fast, but you can carry up to 2 1,000-pound bombs, which is just phenomenal, especially at this BR. It might actually be a pretty decent aircraft for some things, so I'm actually kind of excited to see this coming to War Thunder. And even with the 1,000-kilogram bomb load, it is considered to be a light bomber, interestingly enough. Now, unfortunately, the first MiG-25 to come to War Thunder will be an event vehicle. Yeah, this is going to be coming with the winter event, but we are getting the MiG-25, which is still really, really cool. And I think they may have mentioned, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below, in the dev server live stream that they had, that we will be getting other variants of the MiG-25, possibly with this next major update. You do have the R-40RD, which is a very powerful missile. You also have, of course, the R-40TD, which is going to be the thermal, and the RD is, of course, the radar, plus R-60Ms. This thing is able to go at like 3,000 kilometers per hour once it's fully upgraded. It will be an incredibly fast vehicle, probably not a very good maneuvering vehicle, and at sea level, it's going to break apart very easily. So, it's an interesting vehicle. A lot of people are like, oh, why is it 10.7 BR? It might actually be not all that good at 10.7 BR at the typical altitudes that you are going to be fighting at, so you want to bear that in mind. Otherwise, we do have new blue water fleet for the Russians in the Stalingrad class battle cruiser, which is really cool. It's going to be a very powerful, if not lightly armored battle cruiser, so I'm pretty stoked about that. But, you know, personally, I don't really play all too much when it comes to naval, so it is what it is. Then, unfortunately, when it comes to Great Britain, you don't really have all too much, but they are getting the Ajax, which is something a lot of people have been wanting. It does have the fairly powerful and also versatile 40mm CTC cannon. It won't be incredibly fast firing, but this should be a pretty powerful vehicle nonetheless. At 10.3 BR, we'll have to wait and see exactly how it functions, but I feel like it'll be a very nice multi-purpose vehicle in general. Of course, Great Britain gets nothing for helicopters, but they will be getting a brand new aircraft, which in my opinion is a very cool aircraft, but is something that we've already pretty much seen with Germany with the Typhoon AESA. Yeah, that's right. We are getting pretty much the same exact vehicle that we have with several nations now. We are going to be getting several Eurofighter AESA variants. I believe Italy is also another one. Now, Great Britain will be getting a nice addition to their blue water fleet, including the Fiji, the HMS Fiji, and of course the HMS Prince of Wales, which is a battleship. So pretty cool, but again, it is naval, so it is what it is. Plus, of course, if you guys don't know, infantry will be coming, at least in a closed beta test, in the next major update, which is fantastic, and I would definitely recommend signing up for it. You should be able to do so in the actual browser for the game when you actually log in. There should be something on the right side of the screen that will allow for you to select it. Next up, we have the Type 61B, which is pretty much, as far as I was advised, just more or less a modification from what you could see. Like, it's just more or less like a Vismod for the standard Type 61, but it will be a premium, probably a premium pack, though I'm not entirely sure. And then, of course, we have the Type 03, which will be the new top tier SPAA for Japan. Of course, we have no new helicopters. We are going to be getting some brand new aircraft, or at least kind of brand new aircraft for Japan, in the FA-18D late and the Su-30 MKM, which is just crazy in my mind. Plus, we are also getting the Hawk 209. So, very cool aircraft in my mind. We have the AIM-4P, or the AIM-9P4 rather, as well as some Sea Eagles and all that for the for this, and also some AGM-65Gs. That is very interesting at its BR. At 10.3 BR, that is actually quite powerful. Then, of course, we have the FA-18D Late, which will have access to a whole bunch of things, and it is a two-seater. And, of course, we also have the Su-30 MKM, which will be, as you could see, just an absolutely beastly aircraft. So, just a very powerful addition to top and high-tier Japan. But I guess that's what we can normally expect. And, of course, they are going to be getting naval, because why wouldn't they? With the IJN Iodo, which, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that's how it's pronounced. Should be fairly decent, but again, I'm not entirely sure exactly how good that will be. Now, with China is also going to be getting some pretty interesting, I guess, powerful upgrades here with this next major update, in that they are getting the HQ-11, or yes, I believe they are getting the HQ-11, but they are, more importantly, getting the M1A2T. This is the Taiwanese variant, and it will be coming after the VT4A1, and it will have access to the KEW-A2, which is very powerful, with up to 628 millimeters of armor pen. Basically, from what I'm to understand, this is like a stripped-down version of the M1A2. It's like an export version of it, so it should be very, very powerful nonetheless at 12.7 BR, especially with that awesome reload rate. Now, they are not getting any sort of additional aircraft, or helicopters rather is what I meant to say, but they are going to be getting some new aircraft, specifically in the J-10C, which will have access to the PL-12s, of course, and also a whole bunch of anti-ground ordnance. As you can see here, this should be a very, very powerful vehicle. Then, of course, moving over to Italy. Now, this update, if you guys haven't noticed, is not going to be focusing really much at all on lower BRs, unfortunately. Italy rather, will be getting the Freccia OWS-30, which will be a light tank armed with a 30mm Bushmaster plus the Spike LRs, so it should be a pretty decent optional unlock here, being that it is a squadron vehicle. Probably not like a priority for squadron vehicles, but definitely not something that you want to wait to get. Then, of course, or not that you want to like put off until like the very last vehicle to unlock. Then, of course, you have helicopters, which they get nothing, but they will be getting a kind of a brand new aircraft in the F2000A AESA. Yeah, exactly. You are getting pretty much the same exact aircraft that you get with other nations. You will be getting that with Italy as well with the AESA. Now, for the Blue Water Fleet, they are getting the Armando Diaz, which is kind of cool. And I thought they were getting something else, but I may be wrong. Oh, that's it. They are getting the Cassiopeia, which is coastal fleet. So nothing all too crazy when it comes to Italy, when it comes to naval, or just in general, but they are getting at least some new top tier stuff to kind of help them out a little bit. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, I thought that there was a top tier SPAA thing for France. I may be wrong though, but I could have sworn I saw that in the dev stream, but I may be wrong on that. Now, when it comes to France, when it comes to top tier, they are getting the Rafale F3R, which is going to, as you can see here, I'm just going to go into customization view. We'll also have the AESA, which is extremely powerful, and will have access to up to 8 Mica EMs, which is also very powerful. And then, of course, you have yourself a bunch of anti-ground ordnance, so it's just going to make a very powerful aircraft even better. They are going to be getting the Soufrienne, and there is a premium, if I'm not mistaken, with the Lacoste. So they are going to be getting some nice I guess, squadron, or not squadron, but rather naval vehicles that you can get with France. Now, this is what I was thinking of. The Nasums 3, I was actually for Sweden, not for France. They will be getting the Nasums 3, which is also what the US is going to be getting as the new top tier SPAA. And of course, Sweden gets nothing insofar as helicopters are concerned, and as far as I could tell, it looks like they are also getting nothing for aviation. Now, Israel will be getting the Merkava Mark 1, just the base model Mark 1, which is kind of interesting, and it looks like they are also going to be getting a grouping of the Shatkal Gamal and the Tiran 6, which is kind of interesting, but nothing all too crazy. But getting the standard Merkava Mark 1 is going to be pretty cool, in my opinion. The more tanks, the merrier in my mind. But that seems to be about it for this next major update. Israel is also not going to be getting any helicopters or aviation. Oh, and if you guys are wondering, let's look at the radar for this. It will not be AESA. So, unfortunately, it looks like the US will not be getting AESA with this next major update. But, you know, at least the Eurofighter Typhoons are going to be extremely powerful in their own rights. And, you know, those should be pretty interesting to see exactly how those function. Now, bear in mind, I will be releasing some gameplay videos for some of these vehicles, including the BMPT and probably the M10 Booker, maybe the FR1 Fireball, depending on how low of a BR it actually lets me play. But I will be trying to play some of these vehicles on the dev server and showing you them how they function. But that said, thanks so much for watching. Let me know what you guys think about this video and, of course, of this next major update in the comments below. Definitely sign up for the closed beta test for the infantry. But either way, thanks for watching. I'll see you all on the other side. Take care, everyone.